Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jamila and you're crafting with the penny pinching wife. Now instead of giving you guys a tutorial today, I'm going to give you some information. My last few projects have been on sublimation and how to design it and create it, but I never really gave you guys any information. And I've been seeing the question a lot as far as what is sublimation, how does it work, etc, etc. So I'm here to help you out. So if this video sounds good to you, go ahead and keep on watching. If you find it very helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with your friends. And make sure you join my group, The Penny Pinching Wife, on Facebook. First question, what is sublimation? Long answer short, sublimation is basically the process of using heat to bond sublimation ink to items permanently. And to achieve this, you need a sublimation printer, sublimation ink, sublimation paper, and a heat press. Second question, can I change my printer into a sublimation printer? Yes and no. Now, outside of a Sawgrass, which is specifically made for sublimation, there are only certain models of the Epson printer that can be converted over into a sublimation printer. As you guys recall, if you go back a few videos, I recently converted an Epson Workforce 7710 into a sublimation printer. So outside of a 7710, you can convert an Epson Workforce 7720, 7610, 7620, 7110, 7210, 3640, 3620, and an EcoTank 165000. Yeah, I'm gonna leave those links in the description box below. Kids. Third question, can you sub on anything? No, and that is one of the very few drawbacks of sublimation. One thing you definitely cannot sub on is black. So if you have a black shirt, you won't be able to design on it unless, of course, there's always a workaround. You can sub on top of white glitter, heat transfer vinyl, and then press that onto your shirt. Or you can use a product called Easy Subli. I haven't used it, so I can't really speak too much on it, but those are two alternatives if you do want to sublimate on black or even darker colored items. And keep in mind that the different color shirts like blue or maybe a dark gray, certain colors show up very differently. Certain sublimation colors show up differently on items that are different colors. So white is like very much the preference, but you know, if you want to offer a variety, just keep those things in mind. But another thing about sublimation is like for items such as t-shirts or blankets or any kind of fabric item like that, you always want to use the highest polyester count possible, okay? I suggest don't go less than 65%, but I have seen some people do some items on like 50% poly, 50% cotton, but the higher the polyester count, the more vibrant and long-lasting your images. The lower the count, less vibrant your images, and it gives it more of like a vintage faded look, okay? So it just really depends on your design and what look you're going for. And for other items such as mugs, puzzles, lunch boxes, things of that nature, you cannot just go to Dollar Tree and get some mugs. Believe me, I wish you could. You need, like, sublimation items have like a special coating on it that allow you to be able to sub on it. So as far as sublimation blanks, there are a few websites where you can buy your blanks from, but they do need a special coating to be subbed on. What do I need for sublimation? Okay, so say you get your printer today and you convert it the same day. At that moment right there, these are the items that you'll need for sublimation. You'll need your sublimation printer, ink, sublimation paper, a heat press, heat tape, butcher paper, sublimation blanks, and a lint roller. Also, I almost forgot, you'll need a pressing pillow. Well, depending on what item it is you're subbing, but I do highly suggest go ahead and getting a pressing pillow in the beginning. Do I really need a pressing pillow? Yes. Okay. I got this pack from Amazon, and it comes in a variety of sizes. And basically the whole point of a pressing pillow is because some things that you can sub on have an uneven surface. For example, this lunchbox. This is a sublimation lunchbox, but right here it has a flap. So it causes a crease right there, if you can see that. So it causes a crease right here that if I subbed on, which I've actually done, my design wouldn't show right here in this crease. It was just a line in my design. But had I used my pressing pillow, I could have avoided that. All you do is just slip your pillow in here. And now it gives me like a nice smooth surface to press on. That flap is no longer there. Okay, so when I sub my design, I'll have a nice, smooth, even design. So depending on what you're subbing on, yes, you do need a pressing pillow. Do I really need butcher paper? Not necessarily butcher paper, but you do need something that you can lay over your designs before you press. That is going to prevent the transferring of the dye from your project onto your heat press. Because say I press my project uncovered, if I try to press something else, the dye from my previous project will get onto my new project, ruining it, okay? So I've used butcher paper, copy paper. I even went to Dollar Tree and found a roll of brown craft paper, and that worked just as well. So you do need something that will protect your design from, I guess you can say that will catch the ink and prevent it from transferring to other surfaces. Now, when you're doing sublimation, you don't want to use a Teflon sheet, okay? A Teflon sheet will catch your ink and transfer it on to anything else that you press. So I've used butcher paper, copy paper, and some craft paper. And butcher paper doesn't have to be white. I know it comes in other colors. As long as it's unwaxed is all you need. Question number 6. Where can I order sublimation blanks? Okay, so there are quite a few places you can order your sublimation blanks. You'll have to search around and look at the different sites and see what is best to you in your opinion. But some sites that I've looked around at or even ordered from are Condi, SubliSource, Heat Press, and Heat Press Nation. Now the thing about ordering sublimation blanks from Amazon is I definitely suggest reading the description and reading the reviews thoroughly, because there's been some items I've seen in the reviews that people have ordered. If you type in sublimation blanks on Amazon, you'll get a ton of results. But if you go ahead and read the description or read the reviews, you'll find out that those items aren't necessarily made for sublimation. So unless you order from one of the websites I just named, or you find one on your own, make sure you just really read the product description and the reviews. What's the point of sublimation? Like, how long does it last? Sublimation lasts forever. If you make a sublimation shirt, as long as people, are washing their laundry properly, it will last forever. And when I say washing the clothes properly, it doesn't matter if they wash it incorrect or not, because the sublimation design will still be there. But the shirt may get holes and wear and tear and things of that nature. So basically, as long as your garment holds up, the sublimation will hold up too. So, a couple quick facts I want to hit you guys with as far as sublimation. Temps need to be a minimum of 385 degrees and a max of 400 degrees. Paper settings should be presentation matte for best results, but plain paper works also. For those, you'll have to play around with your printer and see which printer setting works best for you. Lint roll everything, and if you're doing like a mug or anything, wipe it down with alcohol first, okay? Because that prevents these little blue specks. In one of my tutorials, actually I didn't lint roll my project well, and when I did my pre-press, you can see I got a blue speck. So to avoid those, because they're really ugly, they can totally mess up your project. So to avoid those, wipe everything down and lint roll everything very thoroughly. I don't know how to use Photoshop. Can I still do sublimation? Of course. I have no idea how to use Photoshop. but I still do sublimation. It doesn't necessarily depend on what software you use to do your design, even if you choose to do the design. As you see in my last few tutorials, I've showed you guys how to do projects in Canva. Okay, you can do Photoshop, Canva, Paint that comes on you know, on your computer, Microsoft Word, or, you know, any program. It does not matter. What matters is that you have a PNG or JPEG image that you're printing, okay? That's all you really need, is a high quality PNG or JPEG image to be able to print. Now, if you want to add special effects or, you know, change some things, then maybe, yes, using Photoshop or some other photo editing software would be great, but it is not necessary to begin sublimation. What are some things I can sub on? Oh man, sublimation is like kind of like an endless possibilities. Like, I just go to the store and I just look at the polyester count on certain items just to see if it can be subbed on. And if the polyester count is high, I'm buying it and I'm taking it home and I'm trying it. But from those websites that I mentioned earlier, they specialize in selling sublimation blanks, and a few things that you can get from them are, I got some ornaments, great for this upcoming Christmas season. Tutorial will be coming on that. I got some puzzles that my kids actually love. My kids love it and I love it too, because it actually keeps them quiet. And then I have these lunch boxes, which are super cute, that I'll be doing sublimation on. And of course, mugs. Okay, everybody drinks out of mugs. They're super popular. Probably always will be a bestseller item. And those are just a few items that I have, but of course you guys have seen me do onesies, you've seen me do socks, you've seen me do ribbon. So really just let your imagination float and just explore. There's so many things you can do with sublimation. So last night in my Facebook group, The Penny Pinching Wife, go ahead and join if you haven't already, I asked what are some questions that you guys had about sublimation, because I really wanted to kind of be thorough in this tutorial and give you guys the basics and the information that you need to be able to get you started. So one of the questions is, what is a purge file and what does it mean? So basically, when you purge your printer, like your say you recently convert a sublimation printer and you do the purge file. Purging is basically another way to do a nozzle head cleaning. Sometimes your ink can be stuck, and to be able to like clear a blocked ink head, you just do a purge file, which is basically you're just gonna have like a block of magenta or black, or you know, just all your colors, okay? Because a head cleaning does use a lot of ink, whether you just need to clean that one color or all your colors. So purge file is just another way to kind of get your colors printed out correctly without necessarily using so much ink. Another question was how to make your colors pop more. Okay, so when you print on sublimation, usually your colors aren't, when you print, usually your colors are going to be dull, okay? You'll always need to press your project to really see the true vibrancy of your image, okay? So if you print it and it looks dull, that's fine. But when you press it and it still looks dull, then it can be either your temperature wasn't high enough or your pressure was off, okay? So always experiment between time and temperature to get the best result. Times and tints for different items. So when you purchase sublimation blanks from websites, they usually give you the recommended time and temperature in the description box of whatever item it is that you're subbing. But I believe the standard is like 400 degrees, 60 seconds. Okay, so you can always start at 400 degrees and do it for 60 seconds, and then maybe go up or down on the time depending on your result. Substrate templates. Okay, so when I design, I don't necessarily use a template. Okay, in my last few tutorials, you will see that I just basically measure my item. I go in Canva, I create a box to kind of be my guideline as far as what my image will look like when I print. Okay, so I don't use templates. I'm really not sure where you can purchase templates from. Of course, everything is on Etsy, but like when I do mugs, I just really measure the area where I want to print on. When I do shirts, you know, I kind of do the same thing. And so I don't really use templates, but I just use a box and then go from there. How do you get the most vibrant colors? Okay, so to get the most vibrant colors, as I mentioned earlier, you'll always want to make sure your time and pressure are good. And then you'll also want to, depending on where you got your ink, like for me, I use InkX Pro. When they sent me my kit, they also sent me some directions, and in the directions it said to download their color profile. So certain inks give you a color profile, and hopefully when you purchase the kit or whatever from them, they'll give you instructions on downloading their color profile, which is basically saying the colors that are on your computer is going to be the colors that will be on your project. Okay, so time, temperature, make sure your paper settings are like on presentation matte or plain paper, of course, you know, depending on your printer and your printer settings. And so time, temperature, paper settings, and make sure that you've installed the color profile of whatever ink it is that you're using. Another question was printing on multiple sheets of paper and layering them so you don't have the lines shown on your project. Okay, so like say you want to do an all over shirt, okay, unless you have like one of those super wide Epson sublimation printers or like a super big heat press, you're gonna have to piece your project together, right? So when you piece your project together, instead of having them like side by side like this, when you do your pieces, you're gonna want to overlap your design a little bit, okay? Because when you do it side by side, that is what gives you the line. But if you overlap your design a little bit, it's giving you that coverage, and it's going to make the line not be there, okay? I personally, I've tried piecing my images together. It's a lot of work. I was like, I'm good. So there may or may not be a tutorial in the future on that, but you want to overlap instead of just putting them side by side. And of course, when you do that, you will secure your pieces with heat tape. So heat tape is very important. Alright guys, that concludes this informational video. I really hope that this helped you guys and cleared up some questions. If there's something I missed, go ahead and leave your question in the comment box, or join my Facebook group, ask the question in the group, and I will respond to you guys, okay? So don't forget to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and join my Facebook group, The Penny Pinching Wife. Until next time guys, see you later.